Hi, everyone, and welcome. I am your Woo Woo Queen Gina, and this is All Things Woo Woo Podcast. I want to warmly welcome you into my sacred space where I will share with you the deepest parts of my woo woo self in the world of woo woo. Now, you can be anywhere in the world, and you chose to be here with me on my very first podcast ever, and for that, I am forever grateful. What you get from spending your time with me today is everything the universe has to offer. On the other hand, I am just a messenger. Please, my woo woos, please, don't shoot the messenger. All Things Woo Woo podcast will explore the world of woo woo, sharing with you all the ways in which you can use woo woo to enhance your human experience, manifesting the life you want using your intrinsic gifts and capabilities. We are powerful sentient beings, my woo-woos, with abilities far beyond our wildest imaginations. And on this podcast, you will learn ways to tap into that power, harness abundant information, knowledge, and wisdom from the divine realm of infinite possibilities. Join me, your woo-woo queen, here every week for a new woo-woo episode. All Things Woo Woo streams on all platforms, and you can subscribe on Patreon to get the latest information, notifications, and direct messages delivered straight to your inbox. We are about to embark on a magical journey, one you will find yourself fully immersed in once you start to understand and begin to unlock the infinite potential that resides in the world of woo woo. Now, when I refer to the term woo woo, I am talking about superconscious and mysticism, and not the cocktail. There is a cocktail drink named woo woo. However, for those of you who did end up here possibly looking for the recipe, no worries, your girl got you covered. It's made with vodka, peach schnapps, and cranberry juice. So please go and make your drink, then come back, spend a little time with me, your woo woo queen Gina, and enjoy your cocktail in the world of woo woo. So, for today's episode, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. The concept of how the world of woo woo works is so simple, yet it's not. But it is, however, it seems complex. How paradoxical is that? My final assessment is that woo woo is like fine art. The perspective is in the eye of the beholder. It is whatever we determine it to be. I learned of a saying recently, the art that is unknown, that goes, truth does not exist, only perspective. For me, that brought a lot into perspective. What we call our truth is only our perspective on the truth. Truth does not exist, plain and simple. If so, who determines that it's truth? Somehow, as humans, we all agree that the sky is the sky. But who was the first person to call it a sky? And at what point did this become true? It's not just the world of woo-woo and the physical reality that presents as a mind trip. The whole shebangity bang is a mind trip. It's very difficult to think of our existence in this abstract, impersonal, and spacey way. However, that's my perspective on the truth. We are programmed to think we are anchored to a physical existence, to people, places, and things, but realistically, we are not anchored to anything. People, places, and things come and go all the time. If we were really anchored to them, wouldn't we come and go all the time with them as well? Living in this human experience, consciously we never go. We are always with self, no matter who or what is around us. The only entity that we are anchored to is the self, otherwise known as soul energy life force. I've shared so much with you all through our time together and brought to light so many of my perceptions about existence, for which I know and clearly understand are all just my perceived truths. My goal is never to convince anyone of anything, but surely I want to encourage a desire to explore my perceived understandings for yourself. I believe in the magic of woo-woo. I practice the magic of woo-woo, and I love talking about it and sharing my experiences within the world of woo-woo. I conferred self as the acronym Soul Energy Life Force in my 2019 book, Insight into the Universe, to establish that self is not physical form, but pure energy. That, coupled with consciousness, creates an awareness of self which at times appears in physical form. Having an awareness of self feels like we are fully immersed in a human experience. However, we are energetically charged particles colliding into one another, exchanging quantum energy, creating what we all know as three-dimensional reality. To truly accept this explanation in any way as a perceived truth induces a mind trip moment. As I mentioned before, the more we think we know, the more we seek to understand. I highly doubt that I will ever arrive at a place of full understanding and acceptance of what I've learned about our existence. Having said that, I stay grounded in the notion that it's not about what I know, what I think, or what anyone else knows or thinks. My whole existence rests with how I feel. I firmly believe that what we feel is the end all be all to any conscious beliefs we may have about our existence. The heart, mind, and our awareness is all we need to focus on because it's what creates our experiences, real or perceived. If we can master our understanding of how those parts of our being work, independently and collectively, then we ascend in our awareness of self. Some will master it better than others. To become a master and elevate our awareness, we must study ourselves. We must all become scientists, studying ourselves in petri dishes, tapping into our alchemist nature to become the observer observing the observer. It is at this point that I understand why people choose to check out and proceed in the manner of reality that they have become accustomed to, and I totally understand and empathize with their choice. I will reiterate for the gazillionth time. Revelations are hard, my woo-woos. Hard, but at most times very necessary. With my elevated perceived understanding of the world, I often wonder, if given the choice, would I choose to remain oblivious to the knowledge I've gained in my journey of exploration and enlightenment? For me, it's a firm no. It's a no because in focusing on just the feeling and not the understanding, I feel 1000% better than I did without the knowledge. I'm a seeker by nature. I've always, since I can remember, been focused on the bigger picture. Existing in these small, finite, and limited world systems never really served me well. I was confused for a long time about a lot of things. Coming into my awareness of the world of woo-woo has been a game changer for me in the most profound, uplifting, and magical way. I love the idea of being in an experience where my perception of reality puts me in full control of my destiny. I like having ownership over my life and knowing that I do not have to subscribe to the ornery way of living that the physical world, with all its limitations and boundaries, presents. The feelings of wonderment, detachment, enchantment, magnetism, incantation is right up my alley. I've felt those things from birth, which is why I struggle with being a part of modern society. Sometimes we are just aware of our magic for no other reason than how we feel about ourselves. I've experienced a lot of trauma and faced a few hardships in my short time in this human experience. But that spark that I just described has always remained present. For that, I will always be grateful. In all honesty, the spark is my well of gratitude. Many of us have and remain connected to our spark. However, we've gotten so caught up in the societal constructs put in place to keep us limited that we've just ignored it. Stop ignoring the spark. Tap back in. It's time to start reclaiming our power. I can talk until I'm blue in the face, telling others how they should be or what they should do to ascend in this physical reality. But the heart of the matter is that we individually, in and of ourselves, must want it. Knowledge, wisdom, power does not rest externally. It's within each and every one of us, the same amount, the same information, and with the same accessibility. It is each of our own personal journeys to tap into it. A lot of times I come across community threads where people are desperately reaching out for answers to what they are going through. There is nothing wrong with that, with sharing insights and having seeds planted. However, It is our sole responsibility to water those seeds and tend to our gardens. Mentorship is one thing, but full reliance is another. We must all become gardeners. Anytime we find ourselves trying to resolve something, whether it pertains to our internal or external world, the bulk of the resolution must be inward focused. At one point in my life, I blamed everyone for everything because I refused to take accountability for my unhappiness. I found excuse after excuse for how I was feeling, and none of it ever turned out to be my fault. I found myself in a precarious position, one where I had no trust towards others and where I was extremely guarded. Seriously, I was like a full armored knight drifting through life, putting everyone to the test of breaking through my armor. Unaware of this visual, how I felt and what I perceived as my truth during that time left me feeling alone, unloved, unwanted, and undervalued. It was all in my head, my woos. I created that reality and didn't even know it. It was my belief that the external world had more influence over my existence than I myself. The mind trip moment is that I thought I was in control the whole time, but I was just unaware. We want to consider moments of unawareness as time wasted. However, I now strongly and firmly believe that everything happens for a reason. We say that phrase a lot in modern society, but I think most do not really understand or grasp the true meaning of it. Every single thing does happen for a reason, and I've learned this firsthand on my journey of enlightenment and elevation. During my journey, I can clearly recall being randomly taken back to traumatic or defining moments in my life that at the time left me confused and emotional with no clear explanation as to why it was happening to me and at that specific point in time. It just felt random. The best way I can describe what transpires during these moments of reflection, it's as if the clarity forces of nature opens my mind's eye to see clearly the reason I had to endure the experience. I am bequeathed with a profound clarity that almost immediately removes the trauma aspect in the memory of the experience. It's like, damn, so that's what happened, and this current experience that I'm having is the explanation. It's like a full circle moment that shows how my past trauma was almost necessary to arrive at this future point. It's happened several times, and my last thought is, wow, things really do happen for a reason. And the reason is far removed from what we think at the time of the experience. For a long time now, even before embarking on my journey of awakening, I've always associated trauma with a lesson. And after every traumatic event that occurred in my life, I tried to understand the why. But now I know it's not about the why something happens, but more so what is the message to be learned from the experience. We cannot be lazy about our existence. I mean, we can be, but we have to accept full responsibility for any outcomes that do not align with our intrinsic desires and wants. In essence, we cannot be mad when we become products of the boomerang effect. The key to individual happiness lies within. We can search high and low seeking that fulfillment externally, but that will just amount to distraction after distraction, which we've learned breeds chaos. Stop doing things because they are easy. Typically, doing the right things and making the right choices for our lives does not come easy. It gets easier once doing so becomes a lifestyle, but until then, put in the work. We have to leave people alone and stop causing chaos in the world as a result of our unwillingness to take accountability and ownership for our individual happiness. There is no one or nothing to blame, not even ourselves. Existence is not mind over matter, it's energy over everything. We must reconnect with our energetic states of being to elevate our human experience, thus elevating our universal experience. I've preached, I've delivered, and I've explained the world of woo for 10 episodes now. It's all up to you to take the seeds I've planted and water them. I love to see the spark reignited in people once they have embarked on the journey of rediscovering their internal light. We are mystical, magical, supernatural, and superconscious beings, and our potential is limitless. I can tell you that, but until you experience it for yourself, My words sound like nothing more than Charlie Brown. Womp womp. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The mind is a crafty little booger, and it will leave us thinking the worst, hoping for the best, and experiencing the worst and best of it all. That way of existence breeds instability. The world of woo-woo is the bona fide way back to balance and stability, both in our internal landscape and in our physical reality. There is a learning curve, but it's not really hard once we allow ourselves the room to expand in consciousness. The current program that many of us are on needs to be discarded, but remember, we are not tossing the baby out with the bathwater. We are still fully immersed in our physical reality. Some of what we know can be useful. Lose the rigidness of modern systems. Pink is not for girls and blue is not for boys. Breakfast is not only for morning and dinner for night. We don't have to sleep when it's dark. We sleep in the rhythms that best serve our current needs and desires. Essentially, pay attention to how you feel despite what you've been told. What you need to understand to exist in this experience as your true authentic self is internal knowledge and wisdom. No systems put in place can mimic the natural order of things. The natural order of things brings the entire experience into perspective. We are not there yet. We have a ways to go. However, we can, one by one, speed up the process of getting back to the natural order of things when we reassess and implement new understandings about our physical reality, slowly extinguishing rules of the old world order. Seeking more in life can be found all up and through the world of woo-woo. The physical realm offers what it offers, nothing new, everything finite, and pretty much black and white. Existing from within the world of woo-woo offers a perspective that is full of color, options, possibilities, unbelievable experiences beyond what the conscious mind could ever comprehend. And why wouldn't we want to fully immerse ourselves in such encounters? The only explanation would be fear or lack of understanding on how to engage in the world of woo-woo. If after listening to my podcast and exploring my other content on my platforms, there is still uncertainty, I am available for mentorship. I will be offering workshops, courses, and seminars to guide individuals truly desiring to elevate their consciousness through their journey. The end result for me is building a community in a physical world full of superhumans doing supernatural things to enhance our physical human experience. Raising our universal consciousness raises our propagated vibrational frequency, which then opens the door to elevated experiences, both individually and integratively. We are past being basic, having a basic existence, and limiting ourselves to basic experiences. Woo-woo is never about the material aspects of reality, but when we are busy being magical for no reason, the universe is paying attention to the desires of our hearts. And when we stop to look around, guess what? Our external world starts to match up with our heartfelt desires and true authentic selves. It has been a wonderful adventure, my woos, and I am eternally grateful that you've chosen to embark on this journey of exploration and elevation with me. I thank you for sticking in there with me during the good, the bad, the hard to hear truths, while I shared my personal, intimate experiences and even my moments of vulnerability. I'm a private person by nature, so sharing some of my most intimate feelings and stories was not easy for me. But I have to practice what I preach, and resistance breeds persistence. I've already addressed my past traumas, but speaking about some of it during this podcast season forced me to revisit conclusions I've made to move past it. A time or two, I was blessed with new insights that further cemented my healing, and for that, I say it was worth sharing. I want you all to embark on your own personal adventures to uncover hidden gems about yourselves. I want you all to tap in and show out. Superconscious is the new mindset. If it doesn't breed magic, then what are we doing? I want my woo-woos to go be woo-woo. Live your best magical, energetic, and physical life. Life happens on our terms and no one else's. We have to limit the distractions we put into our lives and replace them with well thought out and intentional desires. For the road, I want to share one last magical manifestation moment. I consider myself to be a hopeless romantic. I'm very picky when it comes to the type of people that I like. I seek partners with very specific personality traits. Although I date, I've been single since 2015. I refuse to date the men where I live. They just have a different mindset than what I prefer. For sure, my current physical location plays a huge part in my access to the type of men I seek. However, because I'm fully immersed in the world of woo woo, I know that resolving any kind of dilemmas needs to take place in a quantum field of possibilities, right? A few months ago, I clearly determined what my end results are for this romantic person of interest and set the intention with the universe. This week, I am happy to report that I met someone and he is exactly as I desired from head to toe, inside and out. It's like he literally fell out of the sky. I didn't have to move my physical location. Space shifted around me, totally brought my awareness to him. He is not from the town I live in, but he's here on a work assignment. The story of how we encountered each other is very serendipitous. But then again, I romanticize my whole life, so there's that. It's too early to give specifics, but come back next season to see if my manifestation was fully realized. I love you, my woo woos, and there is no assignment, but I do want to implore you all to get clear about your desired end results. What some of us consider as clarity is not always clear to the universe. Write them down. Things sound way different in physical form than they do in our heads. I wish you all well on your respective journeys, and just know if you need me that I am at symbol and hyperlink away. Take care, my beautiful hearts. Woo woo!